So, Mr. Feuerstein, how do I look?
Oh my God, it's a brand new you!
Is it really?
Yes, it works so well for your complexion.
Thank you.
And welcome aboard, everybody. Michael Cohen here on the Sports Talk Nation, and we got a very interesting topic to discuss today. As we all know, the NFL trade deadline has come and gone. A lot has been made, again, regarding the New York Jets and regarding what they did and did not do, for that matter, during the trade deadline. And one of the big topics of discussion that has gone on lately, of course, is surrounding Jamal Adams and his attitude after not getting traded by the Jets, and we'll go into that in depth right now. I have a special guest on the phone line as well to talk about this because, let's be honest, folks, this is a very messy situation going on with the Jets. It's getting bad right now as we see Jamal Adams having a really almost hysterical press conference the other day with the New York media, where he talks about having a conversation with his agent at one point, saying that he was willing to go to the Dallas Cowboys, for that matter, and also throwing both Adam Gase and mostly Joe Douglas under the bus in several instances. So, without any further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest into the program. So let's welcome in the one and only Dan Feuerstein, formerly of the Jets podcast, which I believe, Dan, you and Mr. Rick Luckland really should revive, for that matter, especially with what's going on.
Absolutely, but obviously at the moment we have no outlet to broadcast with. So at the moment it's on hiatus, probably till the end of the current year, and we'll reevaluate. But at the moment, it's not available at the moment. But still, if something comes up, then we'll think about it, and we'll let everyone know if it does return or not. Mm-hmm. So, but the New York Jets situation we're seeing now with Jamal Adams.
Yes.
I believe, and this is my personal opinion, I believe that Jamal Adams, even this is his third year in the National Football League, I do believe that he is a very big talent on defense. I think he is a fantastic safety that can sack the quarterback, rush into a third down situation on blitz. I believe that he is a talent in this league, and at the same time, I believe in what he can do on the defensive end of the football field. Now, obviously, it hasn't come to fruition yet, but you do see some intangibles. But the one thing that's really disturbing me, and it's bothering me, how weak-minded he has become, how thin-skinned he has become. He's going to make anything and everything about himself. And it's very disappointing to see Jamal Adams with all this so-called talent. Now, obviously, he's not at that level of a great safety, but he has the potential, and at the moment, potential is being let down.
Let me just say this about Jamal Adams, and Dan, that I have, and this is what we've discussed offline, I have never been a big fan of Jamal Adams. I haven't been a fan of his for a while. I think he's a good player. He had a really good year last year, earned a Pro Bowl bid. I understand that, but his first year, he had a lot of bumps in the road as rookie, as would expect, and this year, in my mind, he has been terrible. And just case in point was what we saw in the Jacksonville game, where he had Gardner Minshew wrapped up for a sack, didn't sack him. He had a ball in his hands for interception, didn't pick it off. He got run over by Leonard Fournette twice in the game last week against Jacksonville. He had a horrible game that week. And think about this. This is a guy who, throughout his Jet career, he has talked about how great he is. He's talked about how he considers himself one of the best players in the league. He considers himself one of the league's most elite safeties. Maybe that's the case. You look at the safety depth around the league right now. But this guy is not Ronnie Lott. This guy is not Troy Polamalu. This guy is not Ed Reed. He only has 2 interceptions in his career. 2. And one of them was against the backup quarterback when the Patriots thought the game was over. So let's take it easy, Jamal Adams, on how great you think you are. Because this is what it has been for the last few years is, look at me, I'm the best in the world. I got to have all these dogs here. I'm going to recruit to the Jets because I'm the greatest. Well, you know what? you're creating a fractured locker room based on his behavior right now. He won't talk to Joe Douglas. He won't talk to Adam Gase. We'll get to Gase in a second, but this is just childish behavior. And then for him to go out there and say that, the Patriots wouldn't make a call on Tom Brady, the Rams wouldn't make a call on Aaron Donald. Well, let's just inform you something here, folks. Didn't the Patriots 3 or 4 years ago consider dumping Tom Brady for Jimmy Garoppolo? Didn't that happen, and it almost blew up in Bill Belichick's face? We almost had a potential Splitsville up in New England a couple years ago, because that's what I remember happening. Don't you, Dan? I remember that. Absolutely. So,
I mean, Bill Belichick was ready to say sayonara and goodbye to Tom Brady because he wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to come in and take over because he felt that Tom Brady was no longer to be in the plans of Bill Belichick. But what did Tom Brady do? He basically ran to daddy in the form of Mr. Robert Kraft and said, I do not deserve to be kicked off this team, whether Bill wants to or not. I want to stay. And what happened? Then Garoppolo got traded to San Francisco. So basically, I'm sorry, I just want to say this. So basically, you have a situation where you have Jamal Adams talking the talk.
yes.
But apparently he can't walk the walk.
Not yet.
Because he's not there yet. So what? This is your third year in the National Football League, as we've already said. You have a gentleman here who, like I said, I believe he is a very talented player. I think he is worth, whatever weight of gold that, he should get. But once again, it doesn't take you 3 years in the National Football League to claim that you are the best in sliced bread, because this is not what you're expecting. You're expecting Jamal Adams to be more humble. You're expecting him to say, you know what, I had a great game today, but I know I can improve in certain things. Has he said that? No.
No.
He has not said that. And that's the disappointing thing about Jamal Adams right now. Look at Sam Darnold. Only second year in the NFL, but has he said, I'm the greatest quarterback since sliced bread? Am I the greatest quarterback since Tom Brady came into the league? No, he has not, because he knows he needs more seasoning to be.
And I think the comparison that you really want to draw Adams to is what's being drawn right now by everybody else, and that is Le'Veon Bell. And there's a story out there from the Star Ledger, NJ.com, that Le'Veon Bell, during the so-called impromptu press conference held by Jamal Adams the other day, where he threw everybody under the bus, he's screaming, "I've had enough of you, Jamal. Enough. I've had enough." And he was trying to tell him to stop the press conference, stop answering questions, stop throwing your guts and all the things that are going on in this locker room out for everybody to listen to and hear. And yeah, exactly. So to me, you have a guy in Le'Veon Bell who said, even in his own press conference to the media, he said, look, I heard about the trade rumors for myself, because he was also being shopped around, or at least the Jets were listening to calls for him anyway, and he said he didn't mind, he understood it, it's a business, and he moved on with it. He didn't feel that the Jets, Joe Douglas, or Adam Gase were stabbing him in the back the way Jamal Adams characterized it. In other words, here's a guy who was characterized as a clown, as a locker room cancer in Pittsburgh, and he has been anything but that. He has been the leader of this locker room in a lot of ways. He's been a stand-up citizen, and he continues to show that day in, day out. And you have a guy in Jamal Adams who, yes, at 24 years old, he's a young guy, he's an emotional guy, we get that, but he is creating a situation that he cannot come back from if he continues down this road. He is going down a road, Dan, that we have seen. I hate to say this. I know I'm going to upset some Jet fans when I say this. He is going down the Odell Beckham Jr. path. He is going down the Terrell Owens path. He is going down the Antonio Brown path of no return. And if he continues to go this route, and he continues to burn bridges within the organization, not only is he going to make it very hard for the Jets to trade him in the offseason, which we'll get to in a second, but he is going to really hurt his chances at a big-time contract, because people are going to say, well, you're creating a locker room disruption. What happens if we lose? What happens if we're having a hard time for a few weeks? Are you going to go to the media in Philadelphia or Dallas or whatever? Imagine if he goes to Dallas and they're struggling with this kind of attitude that he has. This is a problem. He's creating a problem for himself.
And that's a shame of it all, Michael, because he's just not listening to anyone who's trying to inform him. If you feel you're being insulted and betrayed because Joe Douglas is listening to offers, then you know what? You have the thinnest skin in the history of the National Football League. This is a business, and you know what? Damien Woody of ESPN, the former New York Jet and New England Patriot player, even he said, Jamal, you're a talented guy. You are one of the best players in the league right now, but you cannot continue to spout this crap because you feel hard done that the Jets and Joe Douglas are listening to offers to try to take you into another team. You know what? Joe Douglas, this is his job.
Mm-hmm.
If Mike McCagnon was still here, this is his job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to whatever offers you want to ask for this player, for that player, and any of these players that are available for you to take if the price is right. And you know what? The Cowboys, how about them Cowboys? What did they do? They tried to lowball the Jets. Because Joe Douglas countered with, I want a first rounder and 2 second rounders. And when the Cowboys said the price is too high, I can't do it, then you know what, Jerry Jones? You know what? Tough. Because this is what Jamal Adams is worth for the Jets.
You're right.
They're not going to get lowballed here. They're not going to go, okay, we're going to take the deal. You're going to give us 3 4s, 2 5s, and all for Jamal Adams? No.
I think
you want this guy, you got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
And good on Joe Douglas.
Yeah, look, he's doing his job, and he's doing exactly what he's paid to do, and that is to try to find ways to improve the team. If he's going to get 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks for Jamal Adams, he's crazy not to get it. He's crazy not to pursue it. I mean, look what the Raiders did, last year with Khalil Mack. And I know a lot of Raider fans were angry at the Raiders for trading Khalil Mack, but you know what? They got a whole bunch of draft picks. Yes, Khalil Mack's a great player, but is a wonderful player. But right now, the Raiders are in the mix for a wild card. Bears right now look like a complete and utter disaster, and Khalil Mack can only do so much at linebacker. So, hey, look, we'll see what it is what it is. So if you have a chance to improve, basically, if you have a chance to improve the team, you have to go out there and try to do that if you're Joe Douglas. Now, Adam Gase, look, this doesn't get him off the hook either because he has created this culture. He has created this culture where he doesn't want certain guys on the team. We've seen that with his angst against Le'Veon Bell. That's why he's been shopped around. He obviously has something against Jamal Adams. I can't imagine why. That's why he's being shopped around. And, this is what it is going to be. He wants his so-called guys. This is what he did in Miami, and it blew up in his face when he was basically running the entire franchise down there. And, yeah, I don't trust Gase at all. I don't like the fact that he seems willing to just let this to move on. He's like, I don't care what Jamal Adams does, as long as he shows up Sunday. Well, if he shows up Sunday and intentionally tries to lose the game for the football team, maybe you should sit down with your players, Adam, and have a discussion with them, because you know what? You need to get on the same page with everybody in your locker room. He has helped create this kind of discourse in that building.
I wrote an article criticizing the hiring of Adam Gase by Christopher Johnson and this football team. This man fell for it, hook, line, and sinker by former NFL quarterback of Indianapolis Colts and Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, where Peyton Manning basically hoodwinked Christopher Johnson, telling him after that Todd Bowles was fired, telling him, hire my guy, he has done so many great things for me, believe me, you will not go wrong. Well, at this point in time, it's gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gase, in my opinion, should not be the head coach of this NFL football team.
Oh my!
This man should have, period, not even be considered to be the head coach of this NFL team. Should not be considered.
Yeah.
But sadly, Christopher Johnson was duped by Peyton Manning, duped this New York Jet team, And now this team is paying the price for a 1-6 record after 7 weeks of.
Ladies and gentlemen, I used to think I used to go off the deep end. This guy Dan Feuerstein used to say I went off the deep end. Dan Feuerstein is officially going off the deep end. He wants everyone fired.
I just want Gase fired. That's it.
I know. But but seriously though, I mean, you're absolutely right. He is, like I said, created a culture of complete and utter chaos, and maybe that's what he should change his name to, Adam Chaos, instead of Adam Gase, because it's just absolutely maddening what's going on here. Now, this is not going to end well for Jamal Adams. I think eventually we're going to sit here next spring, and the Jets are going to trade him out of here. And you know what? Considering what's been going on here, I think the Jets have to trade him out of here. This cannot continue. The Jets are not going to pay him a big contract, which he's going to demand at the end of the year anyway. Ship him out of here, get some draft picks, and move on. Get this kind of attitude out of your locker room. There's a point of no return right now. Whether Gase is still here as the coach, come next March or not, it doesn't matter. They have to move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. They have to move him on. I don't know how many years are left on his current contract, but the truth is, I've had enough. I've had enough. I was trying to give him an opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to give him one more chance, one more shot. You know, maybe he'll learn from this. But unfortunately, I don't know. I think he'll probably, was it a 4-year deal? He's going to stay here for the 4th year regardless, unless the Jets trade him in the offseason. But the truth is, it's come to the point now, is Jamal Adams a cancer? I would say right now it's at 85%. Yeah. So we'll see what Joe Douglas does. We'll see if he does deal him, or he just lets him go into the offseason and let someone else pick him up.
Maybe they can trade both he and Adam Gase. Oh, God. Oh, man. What a nightmare. Anyway, folks, that's the state of the Jets. It's per usual, absolute chaos. On that note, a positive note, we're going to end it right here, folks. I want to thank our guest, Dan Feuerstein of the Jets Podcast. And also, want to thank you for tuning and listening. Remember to follow us, facebook.com/openmicprogram, as well as @openmicnj on Twitter. And remember to like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation.